With us now over the phone is General Osama Kaber. He's a strategic analyst. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hey, how are you? Good evening.
Good afternoon, General.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
How are you, sir? We're talking about the situation in the region and how different reactions came from different countries, almost a unified reaction. They are, of course, suspending the airspace totally. Most of the countries in the region are on alert. And here we can see that our foreign minister, Dr. Badr Abdulati, have taken utmost alert for Egyptian expatriates abroad, especially in Tehran and Tel Aviv, and providing different services in case of any escalation in the situation. How do you read the scene like that now?
Right. So in the beginning, let's say that there is no strategic surprise in what happened this morning, because it seemed like pretty much close that the Israeli-American alliance will wage this strike against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So it happened. If it didn't happen today, it would be happening something like a couple of days ago, or in the upcoming next 2 days in the very near future. So now all the countries now, as you just mentioned, now they would say like something like few days ago they would like urging their citizens to pull out of Tehran, to pull out of Tel Aviv. Like I heard that France said, hey, French people, don't go to Tel Aviv for tourism now. The Chinese asked their people to pull out of Tehran. I mean, yes, it's there. Everybody would know that this wage and this strike will take place, and it happened unless there is something new now, because if the United States of America thought that this sort of strike would be like a very inclusive strike against Iran, no, we would say the Iranians would take it like a wider scale operation, because of the objectives the Iranians would detect and depict on the map. Now we have something like at least 8 American bases within the GCC countries. They have more than 40,000 personnel distributing all over the peninsula there. And of course, they have targeted Israel now, and I heard that some rockets been to the Tel Aviv, Naharia, and to the Negev, and to Balmachim, Nefatim, Beersheba. As you can see, they have targeted also the Arbil base in Kurdistan of Iraq. So it's getting wider. That's why the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Badr Abdulati of Egypt, is now trying to pull down this sort of simmering area. They would say, no, hey guys, let's get back to the diplomacy. Let's go back to the discussions and the open talks, because no one would end such a tense like this one here. And this tense has extended for more than 50 years now with the Iranians. Sorry for this prolonging, but that's my perception about what I see here on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you are a strategic analyst, and you have even been monitoring with the rest of the whole world the first round of strikes that took place earlier, months ago, also against Iran, by the same two ends, which is the United States and Israel. And this time it's a little bit, there is a little bit of an expansion. But from your own point of view, do you think that the target now, that the targets have been changed and the differences, there are slight differences from the first round? And what exactly is the target or the plan behind the strike this time?
Right. This is a very good question. So the 12-day war that took place something like 8 months ago, and on May 2025, in June 2025, excuse me for that. That very quick war actually, it was a little bit surprising, because the Iranians maybe didn't expect that to be taking place or to happen like as it happened. So the Israelis started that, they waged that strike against the Iranians. The Iranians could absorb this sort of knocking, and they start to retaliate on the Israelis. So the Israelis called the Americans intervened and interfered in this operation, and they sent their B-2s, the Stealth B-2, and they also conducted some airstrikes and bombardment on Iranian targets. Here, this time, would see something. First of all, as we're not surprised this time, so the Iranians now maybe have much more bigger chance to do much more better than they have done since the last 8 months, because the targets bank or the objectives bank they have now is getting like a larger scale, much more like many or too many targets they have now, and they have declared that, they have announced about that. So, and you wouldn't actually understand what's the American military strategic objectives out of that. It's not crystallized up till now. You wouldn't understand that the U.S. administration needs to topple the mullah, or to throw him over, or to destroy the rockets platforms, or to come again on what they left from the Iranian program. It's not crystallized. They didn't mention that. It's something like very wide, not defined, not specified, which makes things like go a little much more wider without good calculations. That's why I would say Iran, they have that strategic patience, we understand that. Both of the two sides now, or the counterparts, are trying to evaluate the situation while doing some strike and see what's the reaction for that, because up till now we have something like now almost 8 hours since this strike been waged. 8 hours now, no good objectives we had, no mullah been taken out, no military personnel and the American bases in the GCC have been taken out. So it's something like a tic-tac, a ping-pong ball moving from here to there, and I think by the midnight of this day today, we would see something different about this war.
Definitely, we hope so. But at the same time, the reason I asked that question is that if it depends, I mean, if the region here is, I mean, regionally speaking, if the main reason behind those strikes right now, and which is very obvious, they need to topple the regime of in Iran now and take control over the Iranian oil. But at the same time, this is going to also shed some light over probably the interests or the implications of that particular step or strike over the neighboring countries and the region. Of course, it's going to have implications over the Red Sea, over some places, over the Gulf area, over places that are close within the Iranian sphere and all that.
Right. Very, very negative implications will take place in the very, very near future.
What exact implications?
Before I go to the implications, I would say quickly, if they are trying to topple off the mullah, Ali Khamenei, actually the mullah have been assigned other 3 since like a couple of months ago. He said, if I'm gone, this one or this guy or the third man, one of them is his son. I mean, so that's not the end of the problem. But the United States of America needs to understand that very well. You have another mullah and 2 mullahs and 3 mullahs. For the implications, you're talking about now, you're speaking about the economic implications, because if something wrong took place in the Gulf, Arabian Gulf, and the Hormuz Strait, that would close the lines of communications.
Of course, all the maritime activities.
The maritime economy that goes closed there by the ships, so it would affect the GCC countries. And it would affect Iran itself, and others will be affected, like China and Russia, for instance, because as we understand that China is driving something like 17% of her sources of the oil from Iran, which represents 19% of the Iranian export of oil. That's one. Second thing is that the safety margin implications, which means, as you can see now, Bahrain then had Jordan got some of these rockets like went toward the sky and went down to the ground. Now we heard about something happening in Saudi Arabia, Qatar too. They have a loaded country. So this is the safety implication against the GCC and the Arab Peninsula. Safety, of course, it will be something like safety turbulence now within the very, very near future, because you wouldn't understand when Iran would hit and the Iranians would say, no, we are not trying to target you. People who are targeting the Americans' bases and posts and whatever it is on your land, because they have no other targets on that. And that's why the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs now condemned that, because it's not very accurate that you can hit the American base or the Israeli base, and other than the rockets would get down on the European countries. This is very dangerous too. And that's why they have declared that on their the speech been given by Mr. Badr about something like 3 or 4 hours ago. And a third implication is that the demographical shape of the people in the area, because you might find some people now moving from their lands and their homes and the provinces and the countries, whether in the GCC or in Iran itself, and to some other places. Those are away from the rocket affections or the bombardment affections. It's very bad. It's very complicating. It's very quick.
Of course,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Yes, it is complicated in a sense that because the observers, the political observers, they have fears or they sense fears that in case there is an escalation, and of course there is going to be an escalation within the coming few hours and until the early hours of tomorrow, that would lead to, for example, like you kindly mentioned, the Hormuz Strait is going to be damaged or closed, and this is going to affect the GCC. Then there are other countries like Yemen who are going to be involved, and maybe other countries or other forces also, and this is going to create more chaos in the scene. It will give other reasons for Israel to be more aggressive.
Yes, exactly. I do agree with you on that, and that leads to a very good question. Is it only Iran will be hit in this this operation, or maybe other countries will be also like in the targets bank of the United States of America and Israel? Speaking now about southern of Lebanon, speaking about maybe the eastern southern part of Iraq, since we have the Popular Mobilization Forces there, and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Houthis in Yemen. So that's when we started talking, and you said that too. It's getting wider. The scale is getting wider and quickly. So other than the diplomacy and the table for negotiations and discussions, the war is going to hit everyone here.
Yeah, but like the Russian official earlier said that the negotiations that the Israelis and the Americans held with the Iranian side there in Geneva did not mean anything. They were just a cover-up for their upcoming strike against Iran. But then other observers would say, does that mean definitely or a temporary halt in the peace process in Gaza, since the United States have their hands full striking and bombarding another country, instead of launching or executing the peace plan that they said they're going to launch it, and then following it with the reconstruction and rehabilitation second phase? It seems that they have no time now for fulfilling their promises and effecting peace in Gaza.
That's a perfect point you just spoke about. Of course, now who's thinking about Gaza, not even the West Bank? Yeah, exactly, as you just said now, because they start bombarding like Iran, still like shelling Iran and striking Iran. So what about Gaza? Okay, what about Gaza? We started thinking about the resurrection, the reconstruction, and the $57 billion spoken about, and the Board of Peace, as we just saw you guys 10 days ago. No, let's get done with Iran first. And since Iran is involved, I would say Gaza might be involved too, and pretty much soon, so quickly. The whole thing actually started from Gaza, and that's why that was very smart from you to speak about Gaza now, because it's a kind of act of bluffing, you can say. They will drag the attentions and the eyes to some other spot, some other place, while Gaza actually, the war is not ended there in Gaza, definitely. It was a little bit like lower scale, maybe a little bit calm in Gaza, but the war is there. Because since the 13th of October 2025 and the agreement we had here in Sharm el-Sheikh, you know how many got killed, how many got martyred up to now? I think 700 people killed in this 140 days, and more than 2,500 violations from the Israeli side. So that gives like very bad indicators and trajectories that these people are not tending to go to the peace process right now. And that now they move to Iran, as you just said. Once they move to Iran, you need to forget about Gaza, unless some other, like awakened, I would say Egypt and some other countries would say, hey guys, pull over here. Everybody like stand still. Let's see what will happen. Why is doing that? What's the need to strike Iran now actually? This is very ridiculous. What's the need? Like everybody in the world will talk to the United States administration, don't bomb those people. There is no real need for that. You really didn't need to do this. But what's the need for that? I mean, yeah, it's getting perplexing, complicated, sophisticated for no reason. We are watching, observing, and see what's happening in the very near future.
Well, Egypt in that case won't have to say that, because if that means, if this situation is escalating with Iran, then Egypt will have to say something else and would have a different reaction in that case to secure our national security or maintain peace and security inside our region and our country as well. But then again, questions would raise. Do you think, as a strategic analyst, that this is the American and Israeli way of walking out of the Sharm el-Sheikh peace plan that was taken and agreed on by the Egyptian and the American side? And with hello? I guess we lost General Osama Khabir. He is a strategic analyst. Thank you very much for talking to us in Cairo local time.